If you're not trusting in your relationship, it's about going back to what brought you together in the first place. So it's
Mhm.
about focusing on your strengths, not your weaknesses. So when you take a test like Prioritize Us, you can gamify it, do it in under 5 minutes, and have it be fun for your partner to just do them. You just write your priorities on a piece of paper, hand it to them, and say, rank these 1 through 10. It takes 2 minutes and they'll just do it. So it's not like this big, heavy duty thing you have
Yeah.
to get into someone with. And when you do that, or you find out your partner's top three and you're curious about it, focus on where the priorities are the same, not where they're different.
Welcome to the Bond Life Podcast, where fitness, mindset, and real talk collide. This isn't just about workouts. It's about transforming your body, mind, and life. Get ready for unfiltered conversations, expert advice, and the motivation you need to level up in every way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bomb Life Podcast. I am Melissa Vogel, your host. Welcome to the show. Oh my God, we are in May. How did this happen? Seriously, how did this happen? Do you guys realize that if you have kids in school, they only have a few more weeks left? Like, what? So crazy. Time is just flying by. I remember it being at the end of April and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be May in a couple days. And now we're like eyeballs deep into May. So holy crap. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome. I'm happy to be here with all of you. And I am just blown away that I'm like looking at my notes and the date and everything. And I'm like, wow, when did that happen? If you are new to this podcast, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back. I encourage you guys, like every single episode, to go back and listen. I know a lot of people find us here in the middle of, I don't know, we're like coming up on 300 episodes, if you can even believe that. And so a lot of people find us like right in here and then they don't go back to the beginning. It's so fun to listen to the older ones too, but go back and listen because we have a ton of like discount codes and specials and products. And then just you get to know me and my journey, why I do this, how I do this, conversations with kids and family and the ups and downs of my life. And good God, is it a roller coaster? It is just such a roller coaster. And I'm going to be honest, today's episode, it's fire as always, but it was a little hard for me to record. Life got a little crazy and I'm here on this podcast to just keep things real. I don't ever want it to be one of those podcasts where it's like, I don't know, I'm just this talking head and I'm bringing guests on and like everything is just fake. And, like I know a lot of, I don't know, I just want this podcast to be like real and about the truth of life and that you can figure things out. You can move forward even when it's ugly and gross, and things like that don't have to stop you. Nothing like that has to hold you back. And I love this platform can be that for me and for you guys to like keep learning and getting to know me and growing on your journey and being like, oh my God, if Melissa can do that, if Melissa can go through that, like so can I. That's always my goal for all of this. And in April, the beginning of April, my life just, like, seriously, if you could take my life, put it in a box and just like, my whole world right there in a box and then just take it upside down and just shake it and throw it all out. That was my life, April, until now. No, not until now. I'm way better. And it was really, really hard. My relationship ended. It did not end how I wanted it to end. I'm just now able to like even say that. And I'm going to podcast on it solo, so I'm not going to take up too much of this episode talking about that, but I want to solo about it, like I'm going to sing a song, like I'm going to sing a solo about it. I want to do an episode on it and just feelings and emotions and everything like around it, not like going into personal stuff. But then one day, either on this podcast or another podcast, I want to tell my story and my journey of everything that happened because I think it can help a lot of people. And, but right now, that's where I'm currently at. And I will podcast about going through hard times and healing and stuff like that for sure. That's probably actually coming up really soon. So keep an eye out for that. But this episode today is all about relationships and unlocking lasting love. And so when I'm like recording this, I'm like, oh my God, this is really tough to do. And I had to use a lot of self-talk and really just be like, okay, Melissa, we do hard things. We do hard things And everyone that listens to you on this podcast does not have this healthy, happy marriage or relationship. Everyone listening is probably going through some type of shit or isn't exactly thrilled with how their relationship is right now and is looking to improve upon that. Whether or not the relationship has ended, now you're trying to improve upon the relationship with yourself or maybe a future relationship, right? Or you're in a current situation, you're like, yeah, it's not so hot and I really do want it to get better. How can I do this? This episode is for you. And I don't know, I just hadn't felt the need to share and let you guys know that more on my journey is coming because it's been tough. And when it's really, really tough, I know what it's like to have to eat right still. There's been days where I didn't want to eat at all. And I had to make myself because I work too damn hard for the muscle that I have. And then there's days where, I want to self-soothe with foods that aren't healthy. And the last thing I wanted to do many days was go to the gym. So I'm going to talk all about that. That is to come. But for now, I just wanted to share that this episode is phenomenal. Our guest is phenomenal. And we're diving into things that I didn't necessarily want to talk about. I didn't know if I was ready to talk about it. And Nick is just so incredible, our guest. I'm so glad that I did. I am beyond thrilled that I got through this. I'm proud of myself that I got through it. And I think it's going to help. I think it's going to help a lot of you, current situation, building and everything. Okay, before I forget, you guys, before we dive into this episode and I fully officially introduce Nick, I have to give you guys, not give you guys, well, I'm going to give you a gift, but I have to give a huge shout out to one of our amazing, amazing companies that we use and that I love, Feast Mode. I don't know if many of you use it listening. I know several of you do because you always comment and tell me about it, but I bet there's tons of you that don't use it. Feast Mode is essentially a way to take your tired, boring, bland meal prep food and it changes it. It completely changes it. Feast Mode's about to change your life. I'm just saying. No, the seasonings are clean. They're packed with flavor and they make healthy eating actually exciting again. No more choking down dried chicken, I promise. Or gross, disgusting, bitter Greek yogurt because I eat a lot of it. These flavors just change it up. And because you guys are part of the BOMB family, you're going to get a special discount. So if you guys use the code BOMB, sorry guys, just put in mom, it's fine. If you use BOMB mom at checkout, you're going to save. They also have free sample packs. You just pay the shipping. They have these little mini ones. So it's perfect time to try all the bunch of flavors. They have new things coming out all the time. Rusty is the owner. We just love him. He was just on one of my team calls for my group, Busy to Bomb, and hearing his story and encouraging and motivating us, it was just so perfect. So Rusty, major shout out to you and to Feast Mode. I have an entire shelf in my kitchen on my top cabinet, all Feast Mode. The way you can flavor and change foods and trick your brain and nothing has to be boring, it's all because of Feast Mode. So head to feastmodeflavors.com, grab your favorite goodies, spice up your meals like a boss, and use the code BOMBMOM and save. Okay, now let's talk about Nick. Let's get back to this episode. Nick Brancato. He is a seasoned personal development coach and educator with over 25 years experience of helping individuals and couples connect, communicate, and thrive. With a master's degree in education and a background in Microsoft systems engineer, Nick blends practical tools with data-driven framework to guide clients through life challenges, including career shifts, financial pressures, and personal growth, which we all go through. We all go through it. Nick also has a new book, Prioritize Us, Unlock Lasting Love with One Simple Proven Test. His innovative approach offers couples a practical, measurable strategy for realigning their priorities and strengthening their connection in a very distraction-filled world. This book is incredible. Nick is awesome. You guys are going to love it. And wait till you hear how he talks about collecting data on your relationship and then turns it into, because, I put my 2 cents in there about fitness, and then he turns it into how you can improve your life. Just wait till you hear this one test that he does. You can do it with your partners tonight. And it's just so eye-opening. Oh my God, I never even thought of doing that. And figuring out what do you prioritize? Do your, what you value and what you and your partner are prioritizing, do you match up? And if you don't, it's okay. You can look into it and fix it. So, okay. Long enough intro. You guys, thanks for being here on the show with me. I love you all. Stay tuned for that solo episode coming. And here we go. Enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bomb Life podcast. Today we have Nick Brancato on. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk with you.
Oh, dude, you guys, we were already talking before this. We hit record on here, and I'm like, this is gonna be a good conversation. This is gonna be good. I was filling Nick in a little bit about my life. I'm like, just so you know where I'm coming from, because today's all about relationships and really saving them, right? Like,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, saving them. And I was telling him, I'm like, I'm divorced, just so you know. I was married like 17 years. I've been divorced now 6, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, around 6. Been in the dating world, couple relationships, single as a Pringle now. And he's like, "What did you ask me? Like, how's that going?" Or what'd you
Yeah,
say?
how's it go? It's tough, right?
It's tough. It's very tough. And I share that because I'm telling you, Nick, if I could have picked, like if I had a choice to stay married and like be in that marriage and save it and relationship and just work and grow on that, I would have.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's a
Like,
powerful thing to know.
yeah. Yeah. And I want other people to know that too, that like if you are in it and you're listening to this, because I know we'll get people tuned in just because of the title, or they're like talking about marriage and relationships and like, all different stages of it, they'll tune in. And I want people to know that like if you are in, this space of like, do I leave? Do I stay? My personal experience, I feel like it's always better to work on that foundation and what you have than to have to fucking start all over again.
Yes. And starting over is so difficult because you have to begin vetting people. And that's challenging
Yes.
because everybody's putting their best foot forward and they're all fronting.
You're hitting it like nail on the head. Like, yeah. And I don't know. I could have, if I could have saved that relationship and just learned and had a partner work with me through it, I would have much rather put the work into that than putting the work into finding someone new and then building that and like starting over. Like, where were you, Nick?
I'm here now.
Yay! You can help
We're
me with
going to
my
help
next
with
marriage.
finding someone new.
That's right. Okay, so you're the author of the book Prioritize Us: Unlocking Lasting Love with One Simple Proven Test.
Yes, I am.
Why did you write this book? Well, let me ask first, why is this what you do and focus on? How did that get started for you?
Okay, so my background is actually in computers. I was a
I read
Microsoft
that.
systems engineer and also education. I was a tenured teacher for a long time.
Okay.
And in 2003, I began playing online poker. And what happened is I started teaching for the World Poker Tour. I became a professional poker player, left
No
teaching,
way.
and was teaching for the World Poker Tour, traveling around the country doing seminars and teaching people high stakes decision making under pressure and mindset management. And
Hmm.
so what I found was that pretty much across the board, all the poker players have mindset management difficulties because the mental side of the game is probably more important than the strategic side. Just like with
Okay.
working out, right? The mindset is everything. And
Everything.
so what happened is people were distracted because of their relationships. And when you're playing poker, it's 10, 12, 14-hour days, multiple days in a row. And any
God.
distractions is going to keep you from making really good decisions.
Okay.
And so I started doing a lot of work with relationships, both single people and people who were already in committed relationships, mostly with couples. And the relationship coaching started to take precedence over the poker coaching.
So you were coaching them to help them with their poker game?
Exactly.
Oh my God. I was not ready
So
for
it's
that story.
a
Oh, okay.
backwards roundabout way of doing it. And so I learned as much as I could about relationships. And to your question about how Prioritize Us came up, I actually took a step back from everything because my now wife was having some serious health issues. And she was having serious mental health issues. She was extremely paranoid, and she was so much so that she wouldn't eat because she thought her food was tainted, and she
Oh
lost
God.
like a third of her body weight. It was crazy. And she was having hallucinations and hearing voices. And eventually, after a long process, we figured out that it was paranoid schizophrenia.
Mhm. That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has a happy ending. She's doing well now and she's thriving. But
Yes.
for a long time, we really didn't know what was going on. It was so scary. And in the midst of all this trauma and tragedy, our relationship actually improved. And
Mm.
the reason was because for the first time in our lives, we had aligned priorities. We both prioritized health and safety. And so we came into full alignment, and all of our petty disagreements and miscommunications fell off because focusing on health was so critical. And so I realized I had this aha moment that if having your priorities aligned makes things so much easier, what other priorities can we examine to learn more? So I began identifying 10 core life priorities that cover most aspects of daily living, and we ranked them 1 through 10 just to get a feel for where they are. So things like career, communication, entertainment,
Mhm.
there's 10 of them. You rank them each 1 through 10, 10 being the lowest and 1 being the highest. So your first priority. And what we did is we compared those two and we uncovered all kinds of areas of miscommunications or unspoken things. So often couples encounter situations where they've been together for a long time, but things are left unsaid,
Yeah.
especially in areas like sex and spirituality. People might think they're aligned, or maybe they're aligned in the beginning, but over time
Mhm.
it changes, or they think they know. It's so easy to think that you know your partner when you don't even really know yourself.
Right?
And so what I did was I took this system of scoring your priorities against one another called a total difference score. Just shows you the difference between the two numbers. I'm a number 1 for career and you're a number 4. The difference between the two is 3.
Okay.
So we get the difference across the 10 priorities and add them up, and you get a score between 0 and 50. The lower your score, the more aligned you are. So 0 is like perfectly aligned. That happens like 1 in a trillion. It basically doesn't happen. 50 is like, whoa, we're exact opposites. Somewhere in the middle, you start to be complementary. And the lower your score, the less like you are to have disagreements and misalignments, miscommunications. So I started testing this in my coaching practice and with everybody I could meet and
Mhm.
know. And what I uncovered was that pretty much across the board, there were miscommunications that were unspoken. And so people started having better communication just by talking about their priorities.
Right.
Their communication would improve.
Interesting. So that's called the total difference score.
Yes, or TDS.
TDS. Okay, so this is interesting. And we don't really have tools like this in relationships. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this test should be passed out at the courthouse when you're applying for your license or something. But I got to ask, now that you've done all of this and you have the book and you've collected data and you've done this on other people and yourself personally, like, why do you think this isn't taught to us about relationships and marriage? Like, because no one talks about this, you know? I remember when I got married, my mom got me a book and it was, I don't know, I think it was like probably some cheesy book, but it was like questions to ask before you say I do or something like that.
Right.
And I thought it was really cute because I actually tried to read it and do it with my husband at the time, or the guy I was marrying. And I was like, huh, this is a really good way to like really get to know someone. And a lot of those questions, like, we had never talked about. And I think we were getting married in like a week.
Wow.
Like, it was like an early wedding gift. And I'm like, Mom, where was this when we were like dating? You should have gave it to me back then, not like a week before we're gonna say I do. But that's kind of what it reminds me of. And I don't know. Sorry, back to my question. Like, why do you think this isn't taught?
So that's such a great question. It's the first data driven system that I'm aware of that's objective to measure alignment between two people. And so most people are focused on emotions and attraction.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you, instead of attraction, you want to focus on alignment. Attraction is comes and goes, it's fleeting, and it's also common. There's a lot of people out there that you're physically attracted
R-
to,
Right.
or
You're
their
not gonna be just
personalities seem
attracted.
good.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And that's not the same thing as being aligned. And so
Mm.
focusing on alignment instead of attraction is a much better way to find out if you have a good foundation together.
Yeah. What if you're in it and you take this test and you're not aligned on a lot of things? Then
Uh,
what?
That's a great question. So I want to make a differentiation between values and priorities.
Okay.
So priorities ask the question, what's important to me now? So priorities change regularly, but your values are more stable. They're your belief system. They
Mm,
change not regularly, maybe gradually over time, or if something real significant happens. But for the most part, once you're an adult, your values stay with you.
Right.
And values are ancient. They've been written about for like thousands of years. So philosophers have really examined values, but priorities is actually something pretty new. It's actually the word priorities is only about 100 years old. Before that, there was just the word priority.
Hmm.
And so you could only have one thing that you were most focused on in day to day life. And now in modern times, with communication, technology, travel improving, everybody has multiple things they're juggling. And that's kind of new. So, to answer your question, I think that's why there hasn't been any good measurable systems in place because
Yeah.
juggling all this is pretty new.
It is, it is. And I love how you broke that down with priorities and values. I guess I've never really thought about that before, and how helpful, like, seriously, how helpful is that to know what your partner's true priorities are in that relationship versus like, okay, what do you value? What are really important for your values? Because I know in previous relationships when I would hear, and I'm pretty self-aware, and we need to talk about self-awareness too and how important that is in a relationship. Again,
Critical.
yeah, critical is right.
Critical.
And never taught, never really taught, but I've had to do some serious work to become as self-aware as I am. But being so self-aware, I always would ask like, what's important to you? How can I love you better? How can I show up better for this relationship? What's important to you? And I got to tell you, Nick, the thing that I found that I'm like saying this out loud, the thing that I kept running into was like, no one was asking me that.
Oh, that's such a red flag.
It is, Nick. Where were you?
I know.
That's true. Oh my God, that made me like blush. That made me like sweat. I just got all hot. Fuck.
Yeah, and those questions that you're asking are so valuable. That's tremendous that you have the insight to ask those questions.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about having done is really personal growth work. And growth is one of the 10 priorities that I ask people to rank. And when you're growth mindset oriented like you are, growth
Mhm.
is going to rank really high. And
Yeah.
if you're with someone that ranks growth like in their bottom three, that's probably not going to change over time. And that's going to be a red flag for you because you're always about personal development. You're about exercise, training, improving your mind and body. And you need
Mhm.
someone who is also growth oriented.
Yeah. I think that's where it kind of got like confusing for me because obviously I'm going to date someone that prioritizes working out and fitness and stuff. And you got to be really careful with that, Nick. I've learned because just because they prioritize going to the gym and looking a certain way, that doesn't mean that they prioritize other things. They don't have other values. Like it doesn't mean just because you're aware of your health and fitness, it means that you're aware of making me feel safe.
So dead on. That's right. Because just because they prioritize health, it doesn't mean that they have a value system that's in alignment with yours. It's that
Yeah.
distinction between values and priorities and beliefs.
Mm.
Like knowing someone's true belief system. So many people are just followers. They're like sheep and they just do what other people do. So even a lot of people who exercise or into fitness, it's kind of like they got into it somehow. It
Yes.
wasn't this personal transformation journey like you went on
Mhm. Yes.
necessarily. You know what I mean? It's very different. So your origin story now is more powerful and different than a lot of people who are just in good shape.
Yeah, especially men.
Yes,
Like,
especially men, because a
yeah,
lot of them have been in good shape since they were young. They were raised on sports. It's not the same thing. Just because you go to the gym and you have a low body fat percentage and you're 40 doesn't mean that you're into personal development and growth.
right, right. Okay, so we're in this relationship now, okay? I have like all these different couples coming to my head that I know that are married and a lot of them I think, I've worked with them over time. So they're in this relationship now and they're doing the work. It could be a male is doing all the work and whatever or the female. What do you do when you find yourself in a position of like I'm just going to say female just because I know more females in this position. The female's like reading the book. She gets prioritize us and he won't read it.
Gotcha.
Or, she's listening to the podcast and he won't. And she's like, kind of asking the questions like I was, or like, hey, I need help in this area, but whatever. You can see she's putting more marbles in that community marble jar than his. What do you do when you're in a situation like that?
This is a great question.
Okay.
So first, I would
Let me get my
encourage
pen. Hold on.
anyone to just just jot down their top three priorities for themselves. What are your
Okay.
top three priorities? Write them down. ask your partner what are their top 3 priorities, write them
Okay.
down, and then just swap. Takes 2 minutes, and you'll be surprised at what you uncover. And what you want to
Okay.
do is be curious, adopt a learning stance. So your goal is not to have the same priorities or for them to match. Your goal is to ask, why is that your number one priority? Why is that in your top 3? Be curious, and what you're trying to gain is context over your partner's life. What are they doing and why are they doing it? So if I know what your top 3 priorities are, then when you're busy today and
Mhm.
tomorrow and I don't hear much from you, I don't think it's neglect. I don't think it's you not prioritizing the relationship. I
Ooh.
understand that your priority was the podcast, and I
Mhm.
understand your priority was a workout video, and you were going to be hectic doing the script and figuring that stuff out these 2 days. So I know it's not about me because I know what your top 3 priorities were. And so just knowing and being curious changes everything.
Wow. I'm like, that is a really great start. And as you're talking, I'm like thinking like, because I got to imagine going into this, and if you each are writing down your 3 top priorities, for the day or just for like at life at this stage where we're at right
Mhm.
now, you have got to have an open mind. You can't be the chick that grabs the paper and looks at it and be like, why is this your priority? Why is this important to you? Why aren't I on this list? You've got to go into that with a really open mind of like, okay, he's being honest. This is what he's telling me. Now let me ask the why questions, not the judging questions.
Yes, and what you mentioned earlier about putting in the work to your self-development,
Mhm.
you have to do that here too before you ask your partner what their priorities are. Like, examine your own. Like, if you're reading the book, take a look and rank your own top 10 priorities and really think about them. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, think
Yeah,
about each priority and say, okay, these are important to me and why. And then you'll be in the right framework because you'll be surprised at your own answers. Even just writing down your top 3 priorities, you'll be surprised at some of the decisions you have to
sure.
make. Like, do I really value this over this right now? What's important to me now is what priorities answers the question of. And
Yeah.
so also tracking how much time you spend across each priority is incredibly valuable and
Mhm.
so eye opening. So after you rank your top 10 priorities, I would encourage people to write how many hours they spend a week on each priority, just a rough estimate.
Okay.
So how much time do you spend on your career? Is it just the 40 hours a week that you put in 9 to 5? Or is it 60 hours a week because you
Mhm.
prep outside of work? How much time do you spend on entertainment? Is that 20 hours a week? And where did it rank on your priority list? Is it in the bottom
Right.
3, but still more than 20 hours a week? That might
Right.
not be quite in alignment. And you discover these things about yourself and you're
Mhm.
surprised. And what happens is it helps you get your actions in alignment with your intentions, which is always my goal.
Say that again, because I think
My
that's your
goal is to
t-shirt.
get your actions in alignment with your intentions. So whatever
Action.
you intend to do, you're able to execute. And by identifying your priorities, you're able to align those 2 things, your actions and your intentions. And it made me realize things like I was spending too much time on entertainment, passively consuming content that I wasn't learning from.
Mm.
And so I stopped doing that and I decreased the time amount a lot and I focus only on high quality content that I feel like I'm learning from that's actionable in some way
Mhm.
or that's true entertainment and true relaxation because
Right.
so often it's neither. It's just this passive wasting of time.
Hey, Bomb Life fam, I have a question for you. Are you the kind of person who crushes it at work, shows up for your family, checks off every to-do list, but when it comes to your fitness, your energy, and your confidence, it feels like something's missing? You might be doing the workouts, listening to all the right podcasts. I mean, you are listening to this one, but deep down, you know you're just kind of going through the motions and you're done playing small in this area of life. That's exactly why I created Fit Mind Coaching, my private one-on-one program for high-achieving women and men who are ready to level up. This isn't just another fitness plan. This is about building the body and the mindset to match the life you're working so damn hard for. Because success in business means nothing if you're hiding in hoodies, avoiding mirrors, or dragging through your day with zero energy, or showing up on Zoom meetings feeling good from the chest up, but praying no one ever sees what's going on below the screen. We're talking about fat loss, muscle building, and real confidence that bleeds into every area of your life, your boardroom, your bedroom, and your parenting. You want it all? Good. You should have it all. Let's go. Click the link in the show notes and book your free call with me today. Let's build the strongest, most confident version of you inside and out. You're ready for more, and I'm ready to show you how. Back to the show. Absolutely. God, I'm always telling whenever I have guests on, I'm always like, you should put that on a t-shirt. That's yours. If you don't have that on a t-shirt yet,
Oh, thank you.
actions align with intention. God, every time you're saying something and you're talking like, because you know me, I always bring it back to health and fitness. And it's so true with like how we're developing our body and our goals and everything too, because people don't realize like your actions have to align with what you're intending to do. And a lot of the time people have these like high, I want to say like intentions, or they're like, I want to be super fit. You know, I want to look like this. Like this is what I'm working towards, but like their actions don't align with that at all. And I'm like, you're never going to get that and hit these intentions that you want with your actions that you're doing. Like if you want to grow muscle, you walking every day, it's not going to get you there.
Right.
You know,
You have to challenge yourself more.
yeah, I mean, it's great, like, don't stop, but those actions have to align with what you're intending to do. So I love that you're saying this about relationships as well. Like, this is very, very eye-opening for me right now. I love
Cool.
it.
I love that.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, Nick, though, I feel like I should sit back and like just sip a cup of coffee with you right now and just kind of like shoot the shit and I'm trying to also come from the place of like the listener because we have a variety of listeners. We have people that have been married for a long time listening, people that have been married, you know, maybe 8 years, that kind of people that are divorced, people that are single. And I think there's a lot, especially for females, of that trust factor. And you know, when you're in a relationship, you really got to trust that if I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to, like, I'm going to use air quotes, take care of you and listen, that I got to trust that you're going to do that for me. And I can tell you right now, just in a personal space right now, I feel like that's going to be really hard for me in the future because I have put so much in and I have tried. And then the other person, like, let me down. I don't know. Let me down sounds kind of harsh, but that's kind of how I feel. What do you say to the person that's like, what do you say to me? The person that's like, God, I'm really scared to let my partner just take over and trust and like put my eggs in the basket. And I'm going to trust that he's going to put all his eggs in the basket.
Right. It's very challenging when you've been through it and you've really put your all into a relationship and have it not
Mm,
work out, to
mhm.
have to restart and reinvest. And so how you vet people early on is everything
Yeah.
with how much you trust them later on. It's funny. It's like sometimes people used to have questions about a hand of poker. They'd be like, when I'm at this point in the hand, what do I do? And the answer isn't what you do there. The answer is that you shouldn't have played the hand in the first place. The answer is that you should have folded and you should never be in that situation in the first place. And so that happens a lot in relationships,
Hmm.
is that because they don't ask the right questions early or look for the right signs, they put in themselves in situations where they can't recover, where the transformation was never possible in the first place. Like something tells me because you're so good at transforming yourself and helping other people achieve transformation, you can see people's potential like
Through the roof.
through the roof.
Yes.
So anything less than someone wanting to achieve their potential is going to be tough for you to wrap your head around, at least in
Yeah.
some area of their life. Like you have a
Yeah.
commitment to excellence, which is beautiful, and you need someone who has one too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that excellence in all areas of life,
Yes.
not
It's a
just
mindset, it's a decision.
yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so I'm sure we have a lot of women who are in this position. Let's pretend they're married 10 plus years and they feel like they're in a position now. They've already made the decision. They already took the vows. They are eyeballs deep in this marriage and they're like, you know, this is what it is and they feel untrusting.
Oh,
What do we do with them? Because I know we
okay.
got ladies grabbing pen and paper right now. One,
Yes.
read the book.
Read the book,
Right? Step
prioritize
one,
us.
read the book.
If you're not trusting in your relationship, it's about going back to what brought you together in the first place. So it's
Mhm.
about focusing on your strengths, not your weaknesses. So when you take a test like prioritize us, you can gamify it, do it in under 5 minutes and have it be fun for your partner to just do them. You just write your priorities on a piece of paper, hand it to them and say, rank these 1 through 10. It takes 2 minutes and they'll just do it. So it's not like this big, heavy duty thing you have
Yeah.
to get into someone with. And when you do that, or you find out your partner's top three and you're curious about it, focus on where the priorities are the same, not where they're different. So if you have big differences, people tend to focus on those first. Like, where are our
That's
flaws? Let's
true.
fix them.
Yeah.
And it's really about, where are our strengths? Let's go back to the foundation of our relationship. What are the pillars that brought us together? So when you do priorities, for example, I was working with a couple just the other day and they were having some trouble. One of them ranked sex as number three, the other ranked it as number 10.
Oh, whoa.
So they were having some trouble, but they both ranked spirituality as number one. And so I asked them each separately, how much time were they spending on that? And it was almost no time on a weekly basis, like maybe a little individual time, like in the
Yeah.
shower, or maybe a prayer or something, or meditation here or there, but very little time. And so I was like, if you just took like 10 minutes a day together and did a little spirituality ritual where you both meditate or pray or whatever your belief system is, and have that as a foundational pillar, a micro habit that you start, you're going to spiral up by creating these small micro habits. And so they started doing that. And they also did a little hot beverage ritual afterward where they just take 10 minutes, no devices, no screens, and no talking about anyone else. So, not talking about the kids, not talking about people from work, just about you guys. And so they do those two things, takes 20 minutes a day. And their relationship is so much stronger because they're back to what brought them together in the first place, which was spirituality.
Yeah. Well, I love hearing that because I got to imagine that as they're doing this and connecting, it's bringing their souls back together. It's like taking their energy and like putting it back together, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that's going to lead to more sex.
Yes. And it
That's,
did.
yeah, because you
It did
feel
because
connected.
sex is really a form of communication and people don't treat it
Yeah,
like that or think of it like that. It's a physical communication
I agree.
and you're connecting with somebody deeply on multiple levels. And if you're not connecting in other ways, the sex probably isn't going to happen. Or if it is, it's probably not going to be too great for either one of the
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so true. And I know a lot of people because I work with, like, a ton of women. I mean, like,
Yeah.
hundreds sometimes, like, it's just insane. I don't know how my brain can even, like, remember and hold on to all of the information sometimes, but there's a lot that their marriage now is just completely sexless, and
Hmm.
if it is happening, it's like a chore, usually for her. Typically for her, it's just a chore and a box we're checking because he wants to or whatever, and I bet if they looked, and I even know like a lot about their lives and stuff, there is no other connection points that you're talking about. There is no date nights or, the the hot beverage thing. I thought that was so
Right.
cute. Like that time there. And so it's like, well, no duh. No shit that there's nothing else happening there.
So
Hmm.
I would ask them one question. I would ask them, how often do they flirt with their partner?
Oh,
And then I would ask them how often they flirt with their partner in the beginning. And if you're not flirting regularly, then you're not connecting in a way that says, I'm attracted to you. You might be connecting over kids or family or some shared activity or something,
yeah.
but you're not saying I'm attracted to you. I was attracted to you. I am attracted to you. I'm still going to be attracted to you. And that's so important. So how often you flirt, I think says everything and it gives your partner an opportunity to flirt back. It sparks a connection.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good point to make too about what I was saying. If, you're in a relationship and you feel like you're the only one like doing things or whatever, I bet, and tell me if I'm wrong, Nick, but I bet if you were the woman and you started flirting more, if you started like sending the naughty picture or I don't know, like doing
Yes.
something fun, that would provoke him to do it back and like wake him up as well. And then there would be like more mutual engagement in that way. So it's okay, right? It's okay, ladies, to like take that first step because he'll be like, oh, I want to play this game too.
It's totally okay. It'll be super appreciated and
Aw.
it'll result in him doing the same thing
Yeah.
back. It spirals up. It's mutually beneficial. It's like a true win-win. And it's
Mhm.
something that you both genuinely feel when you really examine the situation. That's what got you together in the first place.
Yes, right? 'Cause that's what brings couples usually together, right? Is the attraction first. That's typically, like, the first thing that gets someone's attention.
Exactly. And how the other person makes you feel, which has a lot to do with how they compliment you, what
Mhm.
kind of respect they have for the things that you say, what kind of questions they ask you.
Okay, tell me just a little bit about, like, transformation of, like, tension into trust. How do we start that process? Because what if someone's listening and they're like, "There's a lot of tension right now. I can't even imagine turning this into trust."
That's a great question. So, when there's a lot of tension in a relationship, the first thing I would examine is where the tension is coming from. Can you identify the source? Because often
Yeah.
it might seem like it's something, but it's a surface level issue. So, like the tension is not about tasks ever. So, it's never about dishes. It's never about the money you spent that time. It's not what you put on the credit card. Your tension is about something bigger. So, it's
I
about a
agree.
priority or
Mhm.
a value. Your values are probably aligned if you've been together for a while, unless something has really changed. So it's probably not that. It's probably a misaligned priority. So what you want to ask is why your partner is spending their time and resources doing whatever they're doing. So resources could be money, could be time, could be energy. Where are they allocating that? And you don't even have to ask them directly, just pay attention. Where they're allocating their resources is where their priorities lie. They might not be the spoken priorities or the ones that they even think
Right,
are important, but
right.
your resources are everything about you and they really reflect who you are. They're in poker we call them tells. They're like information that you're giving off that reflects the strength of your hand. So how weak or strong you are because you're giving off this information. The same thing is true of relationships. So where is the tension coming from? If you can identify it, then you can begin to ask questions about why is this a priority to you? Why are you spending so much time here? Why are you using your money in this way over here? Things like that. Just understanding, taking a learning stance, being curious,
Mhm.
and checking in will help you understand what the
Yeah,
tension points are. And I would create check-ins like the little ritual, the morning beverage,
that's a
like
good
a
idea.
weekly one,
Mhm.
at least once a week for at least an hour. It could be a meal, doesn't have to be. And in this check-in, you can discuss your strengths first and
Mhm.
foremost, always. More time on your strengths, and then you can discuss the tension points that you identified by reflecting on your own. Because so often when there's something wrong with the relationship, we bring it up and then we expect the other person to like do as much work, if not more work, just because we brought it up.
Yeah, yeah.
And so much of the work has to be done, can be done first beforehand to really understand what's going on objectively. So it's not
Mhm.
about your emotions, it's not about how you feel about what they're doing. It's about where is their time going? Where are their resources going? And why? I want to understand.
God. It makes me feel like a huge lump in my throat because and I know a lot of women probably feel the same way of like, if a man just took time to be like, "Why? Why? Where is this tension coming from?" to really help understand me, game changer right there. Game changer. So I hope everyone listening knows whether it's male or female that just having someone want to stop and understand where's this tension coming from? Why, like you said, why are you putting your effort into these activities? Why are you spending so much money? 'Cause I know that's
Right.
a big one. Like women are just buying and Amazon's showing up every day and they're like, why are you buying so much? It's not just I'm not one of those people, but a lot of time for women, it's not just buying stuff. Like there's something going on.
Absolutely. It's a retail therapy, right? Like it's an
Yeah.
outlet for something that's going on that they don't have a different outlet for.
Like compensating for something usually.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Oh my God, Nick, this is so good. I am
Thank you.
so going to read your book, Single as a Pringle, like, because again, it's about self-development, right? It's
Yeah,
about learning how to be the best version of myself. So then when I am in a relationship one day, because I know I will be, I'm designed to be with someone. I am. I'm not one of those like, boss babes. It's like, I don't need anyone. I can do it alone. I'm like, no, I want to love someone.
Because you're a cooperator, you're a teammate,
I am a teammate.
and you want another teammate who can
Mhm.
cooperate with you. You're not into competition in that way.
No,
No.
no. Uh-uh. Yeah. God, I wish we had time to like really dive into like the masculine and feminine and like the
Ooh.
submissive role and like
Well, we'll have to do this again sometime.
we will. We will. We'll definitely have you back and we'll do this again. And then I'll read the book too. I always like to go into the interviews not reading it. I want to be like the listener that
Yeah.
I know a lot of podcasters do it opposite and they read the book and they have notes and da da da. And I'm like, okay, that's great. But the people listening haven't read the book. So I want to have the brain of them. So let's do a part 2 and I'll read
Cool.
the book.
Yes.
And then we'll have another discussion about it all. Oh, Nick, this is great. Where can people get the book? Where can they find you, follow you, work with you, all of the things? Give it to us. And we'll put it
Okay,
in the show
great.
notes.
So if this conversation resonated with you and you want to get deeper support applying these principles, I do have a few spots available for private coaching
Oh, good.
to help individuals or couples uncover their core priorities, confront misalignment, build stronger relationships. And people can DM me on Instagram at personal dev coach, like development, personal
Okay.
dev coach on Instagram. Or if they go to nickbrancato.com, they can actually get Prioritize Us, the ebook, for free.
Oh, cool.
Or they could go to Amazon and get the paperback. It's available now.
Okay.
And anyone feel free to DM me any questions. I'd love to hear from you. I love working with couples and individuals. I love seeing people improve. So it's all exciting to me.
Yay. Awesome. Yeah, we'll put everything in the show notes. We'll get a link to the book.
Cool.
We'll put that in the show notes too. Nick, this was amazing.
Aw,
Loved this conversation.
thank you. Me too.
Yes. Okay. Make sure we're following each other on Instagram. I think I already am, but we'll stay in touch and we'll keep this conversation going. And you guys check his stuff out. One of the sweet things about life is in the blessings that we get to live as humans, as relationships. So make it the best one ever. Thanks for coming on, Nick.
Thank you so much.
Everyone stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time. The Bomb Life podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The content shared here is not intended as medical, legal, or professional advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any health, fitness, financial, or legal decisions. The opinions shared on this podcast are personal experiences and insight. So if you need expert guidance, go find the right professional for you. Thanks for listening.